After returning to their winning ways, Bethlehem Steel FC returned to Goodman Stadium and Lehigh University to take on another Canadian foe in Ottawa Fury Football Club. Tyler Terrens along with Matt Stubbington in this match. Well, just a few playoff implications. Number 5 and number 8 in the Eastern Conference, but only a point separates them, so you do the math. It is quite tight right now in the Eastern Conference USO Cup playoff race, and we'll take a look at the table as it stands at the moment. And right now, teams 5 through 9, Matt, separated by just a point. Both Bethlehem and Ottawa have played a lot of games this season. Teams who are nipping at their heels have some games in hand, and all that means it's a must-win situation for both sides.
It is a must-win situation. Could it get more exciting than it is coming down the stretch, the way things are in this table as we look at it right now? But it is a must-win situation. These teams have to get the 3 points, and they also need to keep the wins in the win column, so that is the first tiebreaker in the USL. Get those wins, get those goals, get those points. Maybe both these squads will be in the playoffs come postseason time.
Well, Ottawa Fury have certainly been looking for the goals. They're tied for 26th in the USL in that department. And Carl Howard, the last time they played against the Bethlehem Steel, well, he hit the post a couple of times at the very minimum, but he's going to be looking to put the ball in the back of the net, the skipper from Southport, England.
He did his best to add to the 1-goal advantage that the team had over Bethlehem Steel last time out. That goal was scored in the first minute. Howard, though, he does have some magic in that right foot. Scores some brilliant goals from the set piece. He's got to be on top form tonight to beat Bethlehem Steel. He's
one of 9 goal scorers for Nikola Popovic's Ottawa Fury Football Club. And for Bethlehem, they have 20 different goal scorers. And in the last 5 matches, they have been in phenomenal form, and they've been scoring goals left and right.
Well, it's your key as a coach is trying to find some balance on offense, and that's exactly what Bethlehem Steel have done. That way, the opposition coaches can't put one name on the scouting report. They just look at the list and go, who do we mark? The answer is everybody, and that makes life really, really difficult for the opposition and makes life really good and exciting for Bethlehem Steel and their fans.
Galena and Aiden Apodaca were the goal scorers up in Rochester when they took down TFC2. They return home to Goodman Stadium in a massive matchup with Ottawa Fury Football Club, who are coming off of a 0-0 draw against Indy 11. It's number 5 and 8 in the Eastern Conference standings, and it's Bethlehem and Ottawa when we come back.
It can happen over time or in a snap. If joint or muscle pain has taken you out of the game, we can identify the root cause of your problem and develop a sport-specific treatment plan to get you moving again. Over 400 medical experts strong, the region's only nationally ranked program. That's Orthopedics in Action at Lehigh Valley Health Network.
Hey Union fans, save big this season at Dunkin' Donuts just by joining DD Perks.
Score medium hot or iced coffee for $1 the day of every Union home game when you use on-the-go mobile ordering in the Dunkin' app. Order ahead, skip the wait in store, and go! Enroll in DD Perks today and order your next Dunkin' run on the go.
Dunkin' Donuts, the official coffee of the Philadelphia Union. The Union runs on Dunkin'.
Bethlehem and Ottawa just moments away from kickoff here at Goodman Stadium. Tyler Terrens along with Matt Stubbington. Glad to have you with us on this Wednesday evening. here in the Lehigh Valley. Bethlehem Steel will be wearing their all-blue kits, Ottawa in their white, and the starting 11's brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network. Matt Stubbington, what are we looking at for the Canadian side?
Been some changes in this lineup. I think they're going to come out with the 4-3-3. Look at number 5 and number 2 in the midfield. They haven't started in the last 7 games, so it's going to be really important that Manila and Guyana Lampere do some good things tonight in partnership with Portillo. For the home team, Apodaca remains up top. He's such a dangerous player. Marcus Epps, he's got some magic on the right. And Santi Moa, he's a brilliant player on the left. Lots of balance, and they're going to be marshaled by James Chambers and Skundrich in the midfield.
And it's going to be Brendan Aronson, the 17-year-old, sitting in front of them, who has grown leaps and bounds since last year when he got his professional debut as a 16-year-old, of course. But this is a Bethlehem Steel side that is no stranger to starting extremely young players. They were younger than they were in 2016 and 2017 when we were talking to Brendan Burke, and they're even younger now in 2018 than they were in 2017. And go figure, they're having their best season so far with 10 wins. They had their most wins ever in club history with 12, as we had a little bit of delay with the opening kickoff, and a referee is going to bring it back as Oliveira will do that one more time, and we are now officially underway from Goodman Stadium. But this Bethlehem side, Matt, I mean, they continue to get younger, but they're getting better every single year. If you're the Bethlehem organization, you have to be thrilled with that sort of turnaround.
You have to be. And I think a large part of it is that not only do they have the youth, but they have the veterans as well. Players like James Chambers that can teach the youngsters how to play the game properly. And if those youngsters take the messages on board from the coaching staff and the veteran players around them, then good things will happen. And that's exactly what we're seeing with Bethlehem Steel this season.
And one running out of play. It'll be a throw-in for Ottawa. Bethlehem, of course, coming off of their 2-0 win against TFC2 up in Rochester. As it was actually just announced today that the Rhinos are hopefully going to resume play in USL Division 3 come 2020, which is certainly great news for a club that really has been synonymous with North American soccer for a number of years. And even if it is in Division 3, it should be a very exciting time for the Rochester fans, where we get to see their side in action. Here's Santi Moar around the first defender. Apodaca, Skundrich finding Matt Real. Last time they were at Goodman Stadium, Bethlehem fell to Pittsburgh Riverhounds by a score of 2-1. They equalized in the form of Chris Nenko, as this is some dangerous build-up play, but Apodaca's touch lets him down, and Craig Poe will send it away.
Shame the touch did get away from him. Apodaca there was in a great position to turn. Epps was on the right as well. Bizo was getting up that right flank from the outside back position. Looking at the statistics for the two teams, Bethlehem still have attempted 300 crosses this season as opposed to Ottawa's 112, which is pretty remarkable. So with the way Bethlehem still do set up, they will try and get that ball out wide, try and get in behind Ottawa.
Ottawa side looking to make their first ever USL Cup playoff appearance. Finished in 10th last season at 8-14-10. They've eclipsed their win total from last year at 10-10-5. Bethlehem with just one more point than the Canadian club. And as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, unbelievably tight from 5th place to 9th place. Everybody's sitting on either 36 or 35 points, as this will be knocked back to McCarthy, who's getting the start. And Brendenberg told us that that was going to be the case, getting some rotation in the middle of the week as Oliveira is slow to get up.
There's not a huge gap between Bethlehem Steel and Lou City. Only 4-point differential, so if the Steel can win tonight, it'll close that gap. Louisville City fans will hope that'll be momentarily, because they are in action this evening against Charlotte Independent.
Flicked along, Oliveira giving chase. Joshua Yarrow is getting his first start of the season. Can't quite clear it, and it'll be a corner kick coming up. And Santi Moar will retreat to help his comrades defend, and in the stands again, as she was against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, is his mother, who traveled all the way from Ordes, Spain, to come and see her boy play. And Santi was able to collect an assist in that game against the Riverhounds. It must be great for Santi Moar, who came over to the States to play collegiate soccer with Pfeiffer University, to get to spend some time with his mother and have her come out to Goodman Stadium and see her boy play.
Oh, that's fantastic opportunity for him. Always wonderful when you can perform in front of the people that have supported you all the way through your career. John Freeman, the referee, not liking what he's seeing at the near post.
Howard sends it in. Skundrich gets ahead to it. And on cue, Santi Moar clears it away. And if any further danger, Crepeau ways away from home. And a good step from Olivier Bizo. Well, at this point, the last time that these two teams played, we would have already had a goal. Kevin Oliveira scored in the first minute. That would prove to be the game winner. And was up at TD Place, and Brendan Burke said to his guys leading into that game, he said, we need a quick start. This is a team that's in form. They have a lot of talent. They're buying into what Nikola Popovic is preaching in the dressing room and on the training ground, and they simply just came out flat. They gave up those goals. Obviously, Howard hit the post a number of times, but Brendan Burke on that road trip where they were able to gather 3 wins said that they probably should have come away with a result there, which would have been an undefeated road trip, but they're much more wary of the task at hand now, especially later on in the season, well into the final third. Santi Moar sprays it over to the far side. Marcus Epps, great little move along for Bizo, but the offside flag is up. And you could just sense that Bizo was a little overzealous in making his overlapping run.
That was a tight call nonetheless. Perhaps Epps could have released that ball a little quicker, or perhaps Bizo would have been better served to just go ahead and curtail his run, allow Epps with his speed to get round the back.
Epps also got the start against the Riverhounds, where Bethlehem was outplayed for basically the entire first half, but they came out roaring in the second. Chris Nanko was able to get the equalizer just about 5 or 6 minutes into the second half, but it would end up being Nico Brett getting his second goal of the game. And it would be the Riverhounds coming away with a 2-1 win, and Brendan Burke just flat out said that that Pittsburgh side was the best team he's seen defensively in the USL in the 3 years that he's been coaching so far. And Matt, you've seen them this year. I think that both of us can agree that that is very much so the case.
Definitely is the case. They've done a fantastic job. The difference is that they're also scoring goals. It makes them a really tough team to play against.
That's what everybody seems to be saying, that this is the most offensive support that Bob Lilly has had in his coaching career in the USL. Obviously spent a number of years with the Rochester Rhinos and didn't necessarily have the goal scorers that he was looking for to complement the staunch defensive unit. But Nico Brett, along with a number of others, vying for the USL Golden Boot. Brett currently with 13. Same goes for Cameron Lancaster, Daniel Rios, and Foster Langsdorff, but Thomasina Voltson.
The crazy thing is that we're saying that they're scoring goals. They've only got 28 on the season, but their goal differential is plus 17, which is pretty outstanding. You go Ottawa, they've got 29 goals on the season. Their goal differential is -5.
Here they are probing until James Chambers pokes it away. Aronson, nice little touch back for Drew Skundrich. And a great ball along for Santi Moar in space. The Spaniard on the move. Santi Moar towards the byline, sends it across, and it's knotted away.
I think it might have been Edgar there at the near post that deflected that one out. Then great defensive header. Wonderful ball up to find Moar.
Edgar just making his 4th start of the season. Here's Howarth. England native again, working on Moar. It's a good turn from the skipper, and Dos Santos called for the foul. Olivier Bizo, who's been so unbelievably impressive since coming to the Steel. Just provides a tremendous amount of offensive support for that outside back position. Yarrow along for Bizo.
Ottawa are a team that are quite happy to concede possession. In the last 7 games, they haven't outpossessed any of the teams that they've played against. When they win the ball back, though, they've got to get the forwards further up the pitch if they're going to be able to release the pressure and find a way to counter. At the moment, they're not being successful in doing that. Part of that credit goes to the back 4 of Bethlehem Steel. See right there, they drop as a unit, challenging that ball played over the top. Here's Moa down the left flank, a little shimmy and shake. And it was Edgar at the near post. A little hesitation there. Wrong foot's the defender. Mercy there was left struggling. Sorry, that was Bahia.
A little more than 10 minutes in here from Goodman Stadium. Santi Moar by far with the best chance so far. We'll call it a half chance at the moment. Matt Real. To the Irishman, the captain, James Chambers. Provided one of the goals in their 3-0 win against the Charlotte Independents, which Brendan Burke said was just a telltale sign of how far these youngsters have come, where they can travel down to Charlotte and concede possession for most of the game, but just simply outclass them when they're given the opportunity on the counter, and they just picked apart Mike Jeffrey's side for a 3-0 win as Howarth sent over the top. Matt Real left chasing Howarth. Thought about it, now tries to put it on frame a second time. Both are blocked by Matt Real. And a corner kick coming up for the visitors.
Good recovery in the end by Matt Real. Ball over the top. He was caught in 2 minds. It was number 32. Got on his heels, and that allowed Howarth the opportunity to run beyond him and get goal side. In the end, it was good work to get back, block the shooting opportunity.
Now it's Christian Portilla trying to go over to take the corner. He'll be celebrating his 30th birthday in about 6 days' time. Portilla, good ball in. Oh, it was loose in front as Dos Santos was trying to redirect it on frame. McCarthy was caught in no man's land. And we'll do it one more time.
I think it might have been deflected over by Skundrich.
Portilla again towards the back post. McCarthy taken down. It's a foul.
Fury players knew exactly what was going on. The whistle went before the ball had even crossed the goal line. There's the little push there. Edgar with his arms up, knowing that he's the guilty party.
That was similar to one of the highlights that we showed of Howarth hitting the post about 17 times last time that these two teams played. There was no way he was going to hit the post again from there.
Wasn't nearly as spectacular as other chances last time out against the Bethlehem Steel.
Moar bends it in. Easy work for Crepeau as Skundrich was making that delayed run.
I like the ball in. I like the run from Skundrich across the face of the goalkeeper, making life difficult for Crepeau. And you got 12 clean sheets on the season, or 11 clean sheets on the season, I should say. 12 for the team. Takes a little bit to worry the goalkeeper. That looked like handball to me.
Ottawa think the same thing. Skundrich met by a strong challenge from Meyer Jaguer, 20-year-old from Quebec. Real looking for an option. Support touch from Chambers. Dos Santos wisely knocks it off of Mahoney. Skundrich has really established himself as one of the main midfielders for Brendan Burke week in and week out to complement James Chambers in the middle of the park. Moar nipped at from behind, and it's actually going to be a foul against Ottawa. Cobra was Chris Manella.
Izo didn't think that ball from Chambers was going to get through. The Irishman put just enough pace on it. Izo curtailed his run. I'm going to try and find a statistic on how many touches Chambers takes every time the ball comes to him. Just watched a lot of highlights of him, and he seems to be 1 or 2 touches and he gets rid of the ball. Very rarely does he take more than 2.
Nice little hard forward from Apodaca. Here's Moar. Moar with the chip, and it's Santi Moar with the goal. Lightning quick counterattack from Bethlehem, and with Mom in the stands, Santi Moar with an excellent finish, and Bethlehem are off and running in the 16th minute.
Well, the drummers came late to the party. Santi Moar did not. Ottawa Fury keeping a high line. Beautiful ball from Marcus Epps. Goalkeeper Crepeau tried to come out. Lovely dink with the outside of the right boot from Moar. Chips the goalkeeper beautifully.
Santi Moar with his 5th goal this season. Credit Marcus Epps with the assist. That's where Bethlehem can be so unbelievably dangerous, when teams just simply switch off and give the ball away. Bethlehem are licking their chops and looking to run in the opposite direction.
Seems so innocuous. Came from the Ottawa Fury throw-in on that far sideline, and all of a sudden there were 3 or 4 players for Bethlehem still just charging at the back 4 of the Fury.
Here's Apodaca with the pressure. Aronson.
Watching that whole play develop up to the goal, I was a little worried that Moa hadn't given him Epps enough angle to receive the ball. Lovely pass from Marcus Epps to the outside of the boot to find his teammate.
Moar back for Aronson. He's onside. Aronson's delivery, not a bad one, forces a challenge from the Ottawa back line. And a long throw-in coming up for Bethlehem. Moar stood up. Does a good job to prevent the counterattack. Skundrich up for the header. Both him and Edgar had no idea where the ball was, and now Moar off and running again towards the byline, but can't keep it in play.
Select is the official ball sponsor of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit SelectSportAmerica.com.
It's like he's showing off the mum. A lot of play going down Moar's side.
He has such success as a right-footed player, predominantly playing on that left-hand side. And he's a player who very much can deliver the ball with either foot, but defenders really have to respect the fact that if he does cut inside, that it's probably going to find the frame.
Such a great asset to be able to trust your wingers to be able to cut inside, use what would be their weaker foot. Oh, certainly likes to use both pegs. Beat his defenders 1v1 down the flanks.
Oliveira. Ottawa looking for a response. This is a team that Historically this season, when conceding the first goal, things have not gone their way, but when they do score the first goal like they did against Bethlehem in the first minute, they just go into a shell, and it is one of the toughest shells to break in the USL. And the biggest message from Brendan Burke to his guys heading into this game in our midweek conversation with him was go and get the first goal, the rest will take care of itself. The mission is accomplished thus far.
Looking at Ottawa tactically, it seems like they've shifted from what we expected to be a 4-3-3.
Aronson called for the foul.
So it might be 5 across the midfield. Keep an eye on that, see if I'm correct.
Howarth, early delivery towards the back post. And Dos Santos applauding the effort from the skipper.
I think that might have been an attempt on frame. McCarthy was cheating towards his near post. Howarth saw that. His reaction was one of disappointment. The goalkeeper was struggling if that had been anywhere near on target towards that far post area. See how far forward McCarthy was. He was completely out of position there.
Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Receive free shipping on orders over $50. As McCarthy just sends it out of play. Oliveira shut off by Yarrow. And a dogfight in the corner. Ends up winning the free kick. And Oliveira, the former Swope Park man, asking for some help from the assistant referee, but was not going to get any.
There's the foul, the arm over the top. He's probably feeling a little hard done by this second or third foul that's been gone against Oliveira. He's ended up on the ground each time.
Good step from Yarrow again. Marcus Epps is on his way. Epps, a couple of neat step overs. Santi Moar on the turn. Was he taken down? John Freeman says no. We'll get another look at it when we can, but just the idea from Moar to be able to turn in that tight of quarters. Almost was able to pull it off or win the free kick or perhaps a penalty.
Ottawa definitely have gone 3 in the back, 5 across the midfield and 2 up top. And so they feel very narrow. Players like Moa and Epps on the flank for Bethlehem still are finding space behind the midfielders and in front of the attacking players. What a turn. Oh, that was close.
Well, I don't necessarily get paid to have an opinion, but you do.
Seen him given. Maybe it's because Moa didn't really have control of the ball. The referee gave the benefit of the doubt to Ottawa Fury on that occasion, but certainly there was a case.
Aronson keeps it in play. It's a neat nutmeg, and he's asking for a foul. Now he's going to get one from the AR. And a free kick coming up for Bethlehem, and with James Chambers on top of it, it's always dangerous delivery.
Ottawa Fury need to make sure they keep their concentration, because at the moment, a lot of these calls that are being blown for from John Freeman feel like they are going against the visitors. So the reaction of Bahia there, just pure disappointment and frustration. Mr. Freeman was very happy that Santi Moa threw the foam away.
It just gets in the way.
Work on your leg strength.
Moar, it's a teasing ball in. Aronson trying to find Mahoney, and Epps is offside.
Not sure whether it was Epps. Certainly Chambers was offside, and he was confusing the issue. Certainly was influencing the play as well. So the offside call is the right one.
And it's a bit of a heavy challenge from Josh Yarrow. '23-year-old from Ghana. Came to the Right to Dream Academy as Steven Dos Santos certainly shaken up with an apparent head injury.
These are always the tough ones as a defender. I'm not sure that Dos Santos ever left his feet. Certainly if Yarrow went over the back of Dos Santos, then it should be a foul against Bethlehem Steel. But if Yarrow goes straight up and Dos Santos backs into the defender, in my opinion, it should go against Ottawa. Invariably, the referee will blow against the player that jumps the highest.
Dos Santos still shaking up, the athletic trainer from Ottawa. Checking on the striker for Nikola Popovic, who's having a conversation with the fourth official. There are a few managers in the USL who you can really count on week in and week out for virtually the same outfit. And Nikola Popovic is one of them. It's always going to be black on black. As Oliveira ends in a good ball. Supposed to be knotted back across, but ends up falling to the feet of Santi Moar. Here's Marcus Epps. Positive first touch forward. It was intended for Aiden Apodaca.
Look how narrow Ottawa are defensively. You've got 5 players across the midfield. Everybody is on one side of the pitch.
Obasi clears it away. Mahoney. Santi Moar got the scoring started about 11 minutes ago. And since then, the pace has died down considerably. Here's Chambers. Plenty of time and space for Bethlehem to build out of the back. Real. Chambers. Good entry pass in, laid off by Apodaca. Moar. It's intended for Real. Bit of a hospital ball. Now it's Ottawa who can counter. They don't seem to be in that much of a hurry. It's great build-up play nonetheless. Edgar.
Can't really rush things going forward. They've got no players up top as a target. Have to work it through the midfield.
Agnon Laparade. Portilla. Yarrow winning it. He's done that a couple of times. Just steps right in front of the striker for Ottawa, trying to hold up play. And wins possession back for Bethlehem.
Just watching Howarth for Ottawa trotting back. It's not even in the picture defensively. It's gone all the way back to a right back position. Could have just stayed up a little bit higher up the pitch. Been in great shape to defend because of the narrow narrowness of the Ottawa Fury. He has to come back and concern himself with Santi Moa.
Moa keeps it in play. Bethlehem throwing, and Matt, we've seen the pace die down after the Santi Moa goal. And with midweek and obviously being such a big game for Bethlehem, it obviously seems at least fair for them to slow things down and not be as aggressive going forward. But for Ottawa and the position that they're in, down a goal on the road, you would expect a bit more of a sense of urgency as this one is sent forward for Marcus Epps. Drive towards the byline, runs into a double team. Oh, how good is that from Bizo? Able to win a corner kick, just scoops it over Bahia.
I've seen many a scoop pass, but I don't think I've ever seen one to the player himself. Lovely piece of skill from Bizo. Certainly would expect Ottawa Fury to be more anxious going forwards when they do win possession. Maybe even press further up the pitch. But at the moment, they just can't seem to figure out the puzzle that Bethlehem still are presenting.
Design set piece. Real dumps it in. The header. And it's going to be a handball. Penalty to Bethlehem. Drew Skundrich was at the back post. Came off an Ottawa defender's hand. And a chance for Bethlehem from 12 yards away to double their lead.
It was a design set piece. It seemed to take an age to develop. As that ball came in, certainly my comment was going to be, oh, it's a shame that didn't go across the goal for an attempt at the far post, but you can see why.
Santi Moa buries it. 2 for Santi Moa in the first half. He's at the brace. Bethlehem now lead 2-0.
Calmly finished. And Jaguar gets the yellow card on the handball. And no mistake from Moa with the penalty kick. Crepeau guesses to his left. Moa puts it to his right just enough. Puts it into the back of the net with a lot of calmness.
Well, now he's really showing off for Mom. 2 goals in about a half an hour.
Bethlehem field goal scored by number 38, Santi Moa.
And this is exactly what Brendan Burke had warned us of, or was hoping that would happen, that if they got the first goal, that the game would just completely open up for them. And for the most part, it really has. And as we've seen time and time again from Ottawa, when they concede the first goal, they find it very difficult to get themselves back into it. A team that has a tough time scoring the ball as it is.
Yellow card was given to Ottawa's number 26, Thomas Mayer.
And Santi Moa are dragged down.
The yellow card was given in the 31st minute of play.
By Gagnon Laparé.
Tactical foul there, slow things down.
Aronson, positive first touch, but good sliding challenge from Gagnon Laparé. And now Howard taking down.
Real's been caught a couple of times defensively. There's the drag down from the number 2, Gagnon Laparé. Real returns the favor with a poor tackle of his own. Ottawa Fury, they just, again, they stay narrow. They don't really have anywhere to go. Can't find the entry pass that they need to get the ball up the pitch.
Olivier Bizo giving chase. Well, there's the maximum amount of touches that we've seen for James Chambers. That's 2. Matt Real striding forward. And Matt, for any youngsters watching at home, as Bethlehem will recycle here, I mean, there always seems to be a misconception at a young age that if you're in the middle of the field, you need to be on the ball a lot, you need to touch it a lot. How effective can you be just with 1 or 2 touches, and how can you dictate the tempo?
Well, the ball will move faster than the players. So if you don't hesitate, you look around, you know where you want the ball to go, and are efficient in your passes, accurate in your passes, then your team can make moves off of you. A lot of times you'll see young players that have a little hesitation, they'll take a look up, they'll take an extra couple of touches. When you do that, your forwards have got to then recycle their runs, start their movement over again, and in the end, they get tired of doing it. 1, just physically tired, and 2, mentally tired, because they just look at you, are you ever going to pass me the ball? A player like Chambers, he knows where the ball's going. Every time it comes back to him, he's always looking over his shoulder. He's already decided essentially where the next pass is going to go.
Portilla can't quite find Kevin Oliveira.
You see him here, he's coming a long way back to receive the pass. Here's 3 touches. Part of his success is the fact that he's able to just drop off like that and create the space that he needs to give himself the time to make the decisions without any duress being placed on him.
Good challenge. Marcus Ebbs comes away with it. It was intended for Brendan Aronson. Deflection from David Edgar. And it'll end up being a corner for Bethlehem, who are looking to make it 3 before the halftime break and really just dispatch of this Canadian side, who's traveled over 700 miles for this one. And right now they're in danger of squandering an opportunity at 3 points in the first 45 minutes.
Well, Apodaca would have done a better job there. With his run, he went to the near post in front of the goalkeeper, took away the angle for the cross coming in. In the end, Bethlehem still do win the corner kick. Set piece was not nearly as effective as the last one.
Here's Yarrow. Chambers sprays it to the other side. It's an inch-perfect ball for Epps, but he can't quite handle it. End up being a throw-in, though, from about 109 yards away from their intended target, though.
Bounced awkwardly for Epps, but it was a wonderful, imaginative diagonal ball across. The approach there from OR defensively, making sure that ball doesn't go out to the flank, forces it back inside.
Bahia met by Olivier Bizo.
It's the first time he's gotten into the attacking half for Ottawa. If you are going to play 5 across the midfield, you've got to create width. Bahia and Howarth have got to create that width for the Fury.
Daniel Lapare, here's Manella. Swarmed by 3 dark blue jerseys. Falls to Howarth. Little scoop pass cut out by Josh Yarrow. And Matt Real sends it the other way, asking a lot out of Aiden Apodaca. With 3 points, Bethlehem would move to 39 and would just be 1 point behind Louisville City FC in 4th place. But this is Bethlehem's 27th game of the season. Just 7 will remain after the conclusion of this one. Louisville currently sitting on 22 games played.
Yeah, that US Open Cup run earlier in the season that prevented them playing some of that USL games, gave them some room in the latter part of the schedule. It's great to have all those games in hand, but that makes a really condensed August and September for Louisville City.
We'll see if that ends up becoming a factor down the stretch in the USL Cup playoffs. Because the ideal situation would be as fresh as possible for the most important part of the season, but such is not the case when you're making a quarterfinal run into the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup. As Dos Santos elevates for this header, and it's over the crossbar.
For the first time, really, in this first half. The visitors getting the ball out wide, getting the ball served in across. Dos Santos disappointed he wasn't able to put that one on frame. Thumbs up for the cross. Hagworth for Lewis City has signed a couple of players, got one on loan. Signed another midfielder, Jose Carranza. Trying to shore up the squad. Lewis City have always been a small squad. Silly foul there.
And it comes from Drew Skundrich. And he's going to be shown mustard here in the 41st minute.
Slow things down. That's a poor decision from Skundrich. Got to understand that the defenders are there in place. Bizo coming across. Yarrow was also in place defensively. So Bethlehem still in good shape. In the end, it gives a dangerous set piece away. Now I thought about it.
Forge have been uncharacteristically quiet. In the background of the picture you just saw is Portilla maybe deciding as to exactly what he wants to do with this free kick in the 42nd minute. A goal from Ottawa right now would be just what they need heading into the dressing room. Portilla trying to put it on frame. Actually comes off of Skundrich.
The shot and the reaction sum up the first half for the Fury.
And the foul's going to go against Marcus Epps, and now Ottawa will have another chance from this set piece, this one on a much tighter angle. You have to imagine this will be a delivery. Oliveira over everybody. And a goal kick coming, and Matt, like you said, these last two set pieces have sort of summed up the first half, and I'm sure Nikola Popovic isn't going to hold back in about 3 minutes' time.
The old hairdryer treatment going. Just have not played very well in the first 45 minutes. Ottawa Fury seem to be lost for ideas offensively.
They're running on about 135 minutes of scoreless football. Ottawa Fury Football Club after their 0-0 draw against Indy 11. Santi Moar sitting on a hat-trick currently. Yarrow. Bizo. A little bit too nonchalant, trying to help it along for Marcus Epps.
Go back to the goal kick for Bethlehem still. It's played up to one of the two central defenders. Chambers comes back in conjunction with those two players. You've got the two forwards for Ottawa. They have to take away those outside passes, which they do. So then Chambers gets the ball at his feet. Somebody from Ottawa then has to step up into the midfield to deny that entry pass that goes into Skundrich. And there wasn't a player anywhere near him. He received the ball probably 15 yards of space. When you're down 2-0, you've got to press a little bit higher up the field. You can't, you know, unless you're satisfied with going home with a 2-0 defeat, you have to change something.
Portilla cuts that out. Here's Laparé. Pass intended for Dos Santos, but easy work in the end for Mahoney.
And that defensive set for the Fury is exactly what I was just talking about, but they're doing that in their own half. So when they get the ball, those two attacking players of Dos Santos and Oliveira are nowhere near their attacking third to be a release valve on the counterattack. So right now, where's the pressure? Okay, we'll just watch and let Bethlehem still pass the ball around. We'll pick up the press right around the halfway line, and maybe we can start something. Probably not, because everybody's too far back. And Bethlehem still have got good defensive shape, because you've got Chambers, and you've got Mahoney, and you've got Yarrow back there, just in case the ball is turned over cheaply.
Well, at this point in the first half, are both teams maybe just satisfied with the scoreline? Ottawa not satisfied, but just making sure that it doesn't become 3 before they head into the locker room.
I think that's probably a large part of it, but you would think that what I'm describing would have changed at some point within the first 45 minutes, but it's all been too easy a lot of the time for the home team to make those entry passes into the midfield.
Howard, cut out by Matt Real. Trying to bend it in behind David Edgar. Crépeau collects it for his own. Just 2 minutes of stoppage time here at Goodman Stadium. Both goals coming from Santi Moar, one from the run of play. Beautiful chip finish over Maxime Crépeau. And the other from the penalty spot after a handball. Portilla.
And I remember the medical staff was going to catch the ball by the water cooler. Looked like you got a call from Brendan Burke, so don't touch that. I want that ball to go into the stands so we can get to halftime.
Takes a village, doesn't it?
It certainly does. I bet the message from the coach would be a little bit different if it was 2-2 with 2 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the match.
Well, as we mentioned before, both teams maybe not content on the Ottawa side for the scoreline heading into the locker room, but for Bethlehem, they have to be very happy with their first half performance given what happened up in Canada a couple of months ago in that 1-0 loss with Kevin Oliveira scoring in the first minute. Different story down here in the Lehigh Valley. Santi Moar at the brace. His goals coming in the 16th and 32nd minute. And he's doing it all for Mom at the moment. Traveling all the way from Ordes, Spain. She was here for the Riverhounds game. Santi wasn't able to get on the score sheet, but thumbs up from Mom, and if he's got Mom's approval, well, what more do you need in life? Santi Moar has been excellent in the first half. Bethlehem in full control, up 2-0 in the first 45 minutes here at Goodman Stadium. Santi Moar with goals number 5 and 6 on the season. He now leads all members of the Bethlehem Steel in that category. We're heading to the halftime show, 2-0 to Bethlehem.
The heat will wear you out real quick. And we've been through some hot ones. It's very physical. You gotta take care of your body and stay hydrated because every moment matters. That's why I drink Advocare Hydrate. I've got a job to do.
The Lehigh Valley's largest selection of new and pre-owned vehicles in one location is Rothrock. We have over 1,000 vehicles to choose from, an award-winning service team, ultra-modern facilities for comfort and convenience, and the best deals in the valley. Ride out a summer with a 2018 Sentra SV for only $89 a month. Or a 2018 Rogue S all-wheel drive, only $149 a month. Right now, only at Rothrock. Family-owned for over 57 years. Rothrock, where the cars are.
is St. Pete Clearwater, home to 35 miles of white sand bliss. But it's more than emerald surf and Gulf breezes. Beach is an attitude. It's the vibe of life, nature, art, music, or whatever brings you joy. Experience the American tropics on Florida's Gulf Coast in St. Pete Clearwater. Love the beach.
It can happen over time or in a snap. If joint or muscle pain has taken you out of the game, we can identify the root cause of your problem and develop a sport-specific treatment plan to get you moving again. Over 400 medical experts strong, the region's only nationally ranked program. That's Orthopedics in Action at Lehigh Valley Health Network.
Big intermission here at Goodman Stadium on the campus of Lehigh University, and it's Bethlehem Steel, the home side, with a 2-0 win. Santi Mar with both goals in the first half in the 16th and 32nd minute. The second time these teams are meeting this season. It was Ottawa with a 1-0 win up at TD Place, and now Bethlehem have it on cruise control for the moment. Nikola Popovich, I'm certainly sure we'll have a few words with his side. And Bethlehem's next match will be against Nashville, at Nashville in Tennessee, Saturday, August 25th. So a quick turnaround for Brendan Burke's side as they're taking on another club who they're vying with a playoff spot for. And with 3 points today, they'll be able to create a little bit of separation between themselves and basically the rest of the bottom half of the Eastern Conference table. But Matt, should be a very interesting matchup. Nashville, very much a defensive side, and Bethlehem, as we know, can put the ball in the back of the net.
It will be an interesting match. You know, Nashville right now, they're sat watching this game and they are cheering Bethlehem Steel on tremendously because they are sitting in 9th position, just outside the playoff picture, and immediately above them is Ottawa Fury. So it will be a really interesting game when the two teams meet up on Saturday.
Bethlehem and Nashville next up for Brendan Burke's side. And next up for you folks is a look at what's been going on around the United Soccer League. Hope you enjoy some fabulous highlights.
I was born from the bottom but raised to the top. I was born from the bottom but raised to the top. I was born from the bottom but raised to the top. I'ma keep on climbing, I ain't gonna stop. I was born from the bottom but raised to the top. I was born from the bottom but raised to the top. I was born from the bottom but raised to the top. I'ma keep on climbing, I ain't gonna stop.
Thomasina Molson looking for number 14. There it is.
Cross comes in towards the back post, and Foster Langsdorff has his 11th goal this season.
Corner of the 18, cross comes in, and a goal for Foster Langsdorff. It's his second of the evening.
Into the box, a strike, and a goal.
Christian Valesky. Guess who? Again, Valesky with his second.
Slides it across, Michael Seaton. Seaton in on goal, Michael Seaton, he's at the brace.
Ledesma right at the edge of the 18, takes a shot, and Manu Ledesma does it again!
Now Spees gives it a go, and Spees finds the back of the net. Game of one-upsmanship from the Indy 11 this season. Rebound comes out, though, and it's stuck right back in. And guess who? Solomon Asante. Chance now for it, St. Louis! Long overdue goal for Corey Herzog. Here's Carl Howarth, and the shot, and it is 1-0 Ottawa Fury FC.
Here's Atlas Aiden to strike. It hits the frame of the goal and goes in.
Laid off to the path of Barry, he's onside, and he fires it home.
It'll be Gordon to strike with his right boot, hits it, and puts it in the back of the net.
To Velasquez, he'll take a crack through distance, and a goal! Chandler Hoffman redirects it for the goal.
Here's another opportunity. Dixon shot and a score.
Back to Corbin Bone. Bone inside of the 18. Buries it in the back of the net.
So Belmar now into the area, Carlson Belmar. Losing his defender, Belmar. Surely Blackwood gets the goal. Great save by Kendall McIntosh.
Shot getting a piece of it.
What a save.
Great stop by Dykstra. Oh, what a save by Vaughn Williams.
Cardoni with an impressive save.
A brilliant save. Does it again! Great save by Strickland! Oh!
next USL Game of the Week should be a good one. And don't forget that the USL Game of the Week is also happening tonight. Phoenix Rising and San Antonio FC, 10 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff on ESPN3. And right now, Bethlehem Steel with a 2-0 lead over Ottawa Fury at the half. Santi Moar at the double. And we'll take a look at some USL notes and news and notes. Tomato. Maxime Crépeau takes the USL lead for clean sheets, but he's not going to come away with one here at Goodman Stadium. And how about FC Cincinnati? Time and time again, just seems like 20+ thousand fans has become a regularity at Nippert Stadium. And of course, as we saw at the top of the broadcast and we've seen throughout the Eastern Conference, it's unbelievable how tight the race is in both the Eastern and Western Conference.
It really is tight in both conferences, and it makes it really exciting for the fans to watch the games. And just a win here, a win there can make all the difference. And we're going to see some big shifts, I think, after this midweek slate of games tonight and then through the weekend. FC Cincinnati, it's not only impressive that they draw so many fans, they're in the top 5 in the country in all levels of the game. So it's amazing the amount of support they have up there in Nippert, and it's a tremendous atmosphere to play in.
Well, imagine a USL Cup final at Nippert. That place would be absolutely rocking. And speaking of rocking, here are 11 players who had a more than solid week number 23. Michael Seaton was excellent against Las Vegas Lights FC. Tyler Blackwood with a good performance as well. Forrest Langsdorff, he's one behind Thomasina Voltson for the USL Golden Boot race with 13. Alex Dixon, also a good performance for Energy FC, who are looking to make a late push. Obasi, of course, with Ottawa Fury FC, has been great at the back. Matt Pickens, though, getting the nod for the goalkeeper. Matt, who do you like up here?
Well, my first eyes go to Seaton, one because he's got the big red player of the week there, but he has had a really good couple of weeks. 4 goals, couple of assists in his last 2 performances, and certainly well deserving of the plaudits that he's getting. Dixon with Energy FC, they've played really well of late, trying to find a way to dig themselves out of the hole that they created for themselves at the beginning of the season. And then Ellis Hayden, when he's in the lineup, Fresno are generally successful, and he scored a beautiful goal at the weekend to get the 3 points for the Foxes.
And we'll take a look at what's going on around the Eastern Conference schedule. Mike Anhauser in Charleston will welcome New York Red Bulls 2. That's a straight rematch for the USL Cup Eastern Conference quarterfinals from a year ago, in which New York Red Bulls 2 just completely dismantled Charleston. North Carolina FC and Charlotte Independence, a little bit of a derby matchup there. Ottawa will host Penn FC, and Nashville and Bethlehem. As far as playoff implications are concerned, I mean, that and the Charleston New York Red Bulls 2 game, just there's so much riding. And at this point in the season, Matt, every single game, if not throughout the entire season, but really now in the final third, every game, every point that you get or don't get could be the difference between a home playoff game or missing out on the playoffs altogether.
It is, and every game throughout the season is important, but it's just amplified at the moment because the shifts can be so vast, and especially as tight as the table is. And Charleston Battery, they're trying to cement themselves in the top 4. New York Red Bulls 2, they're just trying to stay in the top 8. And we've already touched on Nashville. They're outside the picture right now, supporting Bethlehem, still hoping that they'd come away victorious and keep Ottawa Fury from getting any points tonight. But come Saturday, Nashville will not be the supporters of Bethlehem Steel, trying to beat the Steel as they go and play in Tennessee.
Well, before we get to Saturday and before Bethlehem gets to Nashville and Ottawa gets to Penn FC, we got 45 minutes to go here at Goodman Stadium on the campus of Lehigh University. Don't go anywhere. Second half kickoff right around the corner.
This is St. Pete Clearwater, home to Clearwater Beach, the #1 beach in the U.S. as chosen by travelers on TripAdvisor. It's not just white sand and Gulf breezes. Beach is an attitude. It's the vibe of whatever brings you joy. Experience the American tropics on Florida's Gulf Coast. Visit stpclearwater.com. Love the beach.
Do-it-yourself stores may be fine for garden hoses and 2x4s, but appliances? Those guys may know these washers. But Kleckner & Sons knows these washers. And ranges and refrigerators and more. GE and GE Profile appliances are designed to reflect the modern approach to style, with clean lines and a streamlined look for today's kitchens. So for wood screws and wheelbarrows, go ahead, do it yourself. But for the right appliances at the right price, let Kleckner & Sons do it for you.
It can happen over time or in a snap. If joint or muscle pain has taken you out of the game, we can identify the root cause of your problem and develop a sport-specific treatment plan to get you moving again. Over 400 medical experts strong, the region's only nationally ranked program. That's Orthopedics in Action at Lehigh Valley Health Network.
As we promised, second half kickoff right around the corner, but first we'll take a look at how the first half went down between Bethlehem and Ottawa Fury FC, a game that has massive playoff implications. And right now, Matt, it just looks like it's Bethlehem who understands the gravity of the moment and understand that 3 points can really create some distance between the bottom half of the Eastern Conference table. And Santi Moar early and often was putting pressure on this Ottawa back line.
Seemed like he had all the space that he wanted on this left-hand side. And there was the goal. Beautiful feed from Epps with the outside of the right boot. And then with the outside of the right boot, beautiful finish from Moa. This is the hand. Applause from Mum. Appreciation for her. Appreciation for the fans in attendance. Wasn't a lot going on for the Fury. This was a moment from Howarth, just not a very good service. Ended up being more dangerous as a cross than it should have been because McCarthy's positioning in goal wasn't the best it should have been. From the set piece at the other end, a little bit fortuitous. The hand was up from Mayor Giguer. He gets a yellow card. The referee points to the spot. And the penalty is given. Moa steps up. He wants the ball. Slaps it with the right foot strongly into the back of the net. Crepel goes the wrong way. And we go to the halftime break. 2-0 to the good for the Bethlehem Steel.
That came in the 32nd minute. The goal 16 minutes apart from Santi Moar's first strike, as the Forge are loving every moment of what's going on here at Goodman Stadium. Ottawa would try to muster something up at the end of the first half, but really, I mean, the two plays that we saw from Ottawa in this little highlight package were not menacing by any stretch of the imagination, and that just sort of sums up how Nikola Popovic's side performed in the first half, and I have a feeling that the halftime talk wasn't exactly a cheery one.
There's nothing to be cheery about. And we understand that Ottawa Fury, they are a side that is fine conceding possession, but where they were conceding possession is too far up the pitch. They need to be more aggressive, press higher. The attacking players of Dos Santos and Oliveira have to put more pressure on. And then the midfielders with Portilla, Mania, and Leon Lampere have to find a way to stop the entry passes from Chambers finding the midfield for Bethlehem Steel. If they're able to do that, they should get some turnovers, and then Oliveira and Dos Santos will be far enough up the pitch to assist starting the counterattack. That just isn't happening right now for the visitors.
Well, as you can see, quite literally, a little bit of weather here in the Lehigh Valley. Fans have rushed to go find cover. Our camera operators, who are always doing a magnificent job trying to keep the lens as clean as possible. Just a few sprinkles. Perfect football weather, right? That's what you're used to.
Absolutely.
Rainy, disgusting over in England. It's the only way it should be played, right?
At least the rain's warm.
Officially underway in the second half here from Lehigh Valley. Tyler Terrence along with Matt Stubbington. Bethlehem with a 2-0 lead thanks to 2 goals from Santi Moar. And 3 points for Bethlehem. And they'll be 1 point behind Lou City FC in the Eastern Conference standings. And Ottawa will be desperately searching for 3 points as they'll host Penn FC. And we did have a couple of substitutions. Eddie Edward coming on and replacing Bahia. As Olivier Bizo sends it forward. And Tony Taylor replacing Chris Manella. So a double switch at the half for Nikola Popovic. It's rare to see a switch at halftime, let alone 2, but obviously a very offensive one from the first-year manager.
Definitely not happy with the way things went in the first 45 minutes. Taylor probably go up top. Be interested to see whether Oliveira will drop into the midfield or not. Popovic continues with the 3-5-2 lineup that he employed in the first 45 minutes. Whether he changes something tactically. Immediately we're seeing that Ottawa Fury are trying to press further up the pitch.
Early delivery, a problem for McCarthy. It skips all the way across. Shouts for a deflection, and it's given by John Freeman. And just like that, in the first 90 seconds of the second half, Ottawa able to muster up their best chance of the game so far. And McCarthy was lucky that didn't find the back post.
Just seemed like he saw that so late, the goalkeeper. Rain can be the great equalizer.
Howarth, all the way towards the back post. And it'll be a foul against David Edgar. And we'll get another look at that chance that just quite literally skipped past John McCarthy.
Only saw it late. Bethlehem still very, very lucky that that wasn't turned into their own goal by the defender. I think it was Mahoney in the area. The rain is really coming down.
It's a light drizzle.
And we don't see rain like this back home, I can tell you. Right now everybody's wondering why the halftime break couldn't have been just a little bit longer. Poor kids there are just struggling.
Here's Olivier Bizo. Ball slipped through. Epps trying to get there. The foul will come back. It's against Tony Taylor. He's making his presence felt early on in this second half, having just come on. And Bizo in a little bit of pain.
He's holding the side of his right foot. It's probably where Taylor made contact, I would imagine. Trying to change the direction. There was the glancing blow with the foot. Those studs at the bottom of the boot that grazing over your foot do not feel good. Yellow card looks like it came out for Taylor.
So Taylor 3 minutes after coming on. Shown mustard here in the 49th. Mawar dumps it over the top. And David Edgar clears it away. It probably could have been left to run out of play or for Maxime Crépeau. And it results in a deep throw-in for Bethlehem. Marcus Epps. Broken up by Obasi.
Just a good approach there from Chambers, making sure that the point of attack couldn't be switched.
Nodded away by Chambers. Sent back in by Obasi. And man, it seems pretty obvious for Ottawa what they need to try to accomplish here in the second half. But if you're Bethlehem and Brendan Burke up 2-0, which some would say is the most dangerous lead in football, but I would like to agree, or disagree with that, I should say, just because 2-0 lead is better than a 1-0 lead. What's Brendan Burke and his side trying to figure out here in the second half, or is it just weathering the storm, no pun intended?
Well, literally, in both cases, they have to weather the storm, obviously because of the conditions that both teams have to adapt to. But the other thing is that there's going to be the adrenaline rush coming out of the locker room with the coaches' words in their ear. The message from Coach Popovic to a Fury, and we've seen it already, are a lot more aggressive in this second half immediately after the break. So Bethlehem still just have to make sure they play patiently, focus, and make sure they communicate with each other.
Bethlehem certainly not afraid to press. Up 2-0 in the opening moments of the second half as Apodaca forces Crépeau to get rid of it. Skundridge trying to bring it down. Yarrow up for the header. and called for the foul. It's good to see Brendan Burke has not put up his hood, and you'll see that a lot of times for managers in football. I feel like they want to be one with their players. Obviously don't have the option of putting up a hood, and they just simply take the rein on the head and are just kind of miserable for the remaining part of the game.
I know, I'm glad we're in here.
See the Ottawa Fury players not on the same wavelength as their manager. Brendan Burke has his raincoat on, but
the subs on that sideline have got their hoods up.
heavy challenge. Bizo down again. He's taken a couple of knocks in the opening moments of the second half. Bizo has been so impressive defensively and offensively. Appears to be in some pain. John Freeman waiting to see if Bizo needs some attention. We'll take another look.
So he went to clear the ball. You see just to the right of Bizo's feet, that great big cut in the turf. As he went to clear the ball, his foot gave way. A collision between the inside of his thigh and the knee of the player he was clearing the ball from. That's where the pain is coming from. I'd be surprised if Bizo is subbed out after that.
Bizo just 20 years old, from Cameroon. Joined Bethlehem on January 18th this year. And then almost 3 months later to the day, on April 17th, was offered a contract with the Philadelphia Union, but then sent back on loan to Bethlehem. That's just how impressive he's been. Folks, don't forget the USL's official Twitter feed keeps you up to date with news, live game updates, and highlights from around the league 24/7, 367 days a year. Follow @USL on Twitter.
How many days?
367. I'm counting 2 leap year days. Have you seen the content that they pump out at the USL?
Oh, of course I have. They need those extra 2 days to just cope with it all.
And Olivier Bizo back out onto the field.
So Bassi that he collided with, and see Bassi there clearing the ball, so both players are okay. It's good to see Bizo back out there, but I think he'll have the goldfish bag of ice when this game is done.
He gets a bag of goldfish with the ice.
Well, it always reminds me of when you go to the fair and you can win a goldfish. You probably don't know that.
No, I know that.
You know that?
I've been to a couple fairs in my day.
You see the athletes walking around with the melted ice. Just say, I was say that my players say, "Where's your goldfish?"
Gagnon Laparé goes down and has a bit of a footwear malfunction as well. He certainly came prepared with the metal studs. There are a couple of players we've seen who are wearing their firm grounds. And I'm sure they're wishing that they made some sort of footwear change at the halftime break. Great ball forward, but cut out just at the last moment. It was intended for Marcus Epps.
Really well read there by Gier.
Yarrow cuts it out the other way. Taylor bringing it down. Daniel Lapare sprays it out wide to Howard. Looking to get around Matt Real. England native. Stood up by the young defender.
It's already been better in the first 10 minutes of this half for the Fury. Getting further up the pitch, putting the press on higher, getting some turnovers. Offside called against Ottawa. Player coming from an offside position to play the ball. It's slow to get up. So much moisture coming down right now. The turf is just giving way underfoot.
Well, here Bethlehem, does it play into your favor that this has turned into a bit of a slop fest in the middle of the park?
You'd want it to be good conditions. So rain can be the great equalizer. Rain's heavy enough. I haven't seen it yet, but maybe some areas of standing water eventually, perhaps slow the ball down. Ball skips off the surface. You make some mistakes defensively. Before you know it, you've conceded a goal. Moment, it's purely about adapting to the conditions for both teams.
And the foul against Portilla, and he is livid with head referee John Freeman, and now it's going to be a yellow card for dissent. And he needs to be careful.
Wonderful reaction from Mr. Freeman. Almost as if the referee stomped his feet. Definitely a foul. There's the stomp of the foot. Don't talk to me like that, young man. And almost as an afterthought, into the book he goes.
I thought we were going to see that from Santi Moar's mom today, rather than John Freeman to Christian Portilla.
I think I recognize that myself when I'm talking to my kids.
Here's Marcus Epps in a dangerous area. Nice little shimmy, stays with it, tries to put it on frame. Obasi breaks it up and clears it away. It'll stay with Bethlehem.
Maybe I need the yellow card thing, though. Threatening to take away the computer is not working.
Is that what it is now? It's not, you know, time out in your room, like 10, 15 minutes? No. Just go and think about what you did?
Well, we try that too, but the big thing is no computer for you today.
Welcome to 2018, I guess.
Yep.
Aronson wins the header. Epps can't keep it in play. As we're approaching the hour mark here at Goodman Stadium. Santi Moar's 2 goals in the first half still stand to be the difference. Yarrow has it broken up by Tony Taylor. And McCarthy has to clear it away. He probably could have picked that up with his feet. Picked it up with his feet, picked it up with his hands. Or if he's clever enough, picked it up with his feet.
It was actually touched by Yarrow. That's why McCarthy chose to clear it out. Wasn't going to take any risk as far as being called for a back pass was concerned.
And it's going to be Adonijah Reed coming on and replacing Kevin Oliveira. So all 3 substitutes by Nikola Popovic used within the hour. 2 were made at halftime. Now Reed comes on here in the 61st minute, and Kevin Oliveira's day is done. Nikola Popovic just looking for any sort of recipe or personnel change to jolt this team back to life, at least offensively. But this is a side who has struggled to score the ball throughout the entire season, let alone the first 60 minutes of this game. We mentioned at the top of the broadcast, only 9 goal scorers on this Ottawa club. Tied for 26th in the USL. But obviously Sport, one of the best defensives, not only in the Eastern Conference, but in all the United Soccer League, as Portilla gets this away. Header falls to Howarth, lets it fly, but it's straight into Olivier Bizo.
Well, the conditions with this heavy rain, you see it there on the corner kick, standing water. It's generally where it collects is in and around the corner flags. Get that ball into those wide, deep areas. It can be treacherous footing. You kick the ball to clear it. You keep it on the ground, it will go nowhere.
Yarrow trying to hold off Dos Santos. Dos Santos trying to win it back. Yarrow just gets a touch to it right at the last, and he's been struggling with his footing ever since the rain has started to come down. Aronson lets the ball do the work, and now encouraging Santi Mawar forward. Spaniard already with 2 goals today.
He said yes. I'm sorry. Jamie, do you have a
Bethlehem still with it. Santi Mawar back for Aronson. Brendan Aronson tries to put it on frame, but it's blocked by Laparé. Now it's Matt Real, along for Aronson again. His first touch lets him down. Crepeau trying to keep it in play. He will not be able to. And a corner kick coming up for Bethlehem, and the conditions here in the Lehigh Valley starting to line it up a little bit, and actually looks like the sun is starting to peer through, but for the first 17 minutes or so of the second half, it was not the prettiest brand of football. Chambers, delivery with the left foot. It's a teasing ball, but Crepeau snatches it out of the air and trying to spark the counterattack the other way.
All right by Chambers. Well done by the goalkeeper.
And as you can see, blue skies becoming more and more apparent here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
As my grandmother used to say, almost enough to make a man a shirt. It's one of those grandmother's sayings that
it's unbelievable.
It didn't make sense, but it does make sense.
Edward on the turn.
So Fury again keeping things narrow. This ball could have been played out a lot sooner to this near sideline.
Gagnon Laparé back for Portilla. Step from Bizo. Marcus Epps, that's a really clever first touch. Apodaca lets it run through. Aronson along for Santi Mawar. Sitting on a hat trick. Mawar still with it. Aronson. Bizo probing. And Marcus Epps thought that the play was over. Ends up retrieving it. Skundrich.
Throughout that whole sequence, both sets of players, defenders and attackers alike, struggling with their footing.
Matt Real making a nice little underlapping run. It'll fall for Marcus Epps. Number still in the box for Bethlehem. Epps tries to send it across. Bizo. No call from John Freeman. And Howarth's avenue cut off quickly by Skundrich. And here comes Bethlehem once more. Wave after wave of attack. Santi Mawar working on Eddie Edward. Still Mawar. And David Edgar gets a touch to it. Skundrich again, going for the curler.
Ottawa can breathe a sigh of relief. That was a sustained attack for Bethlehem Steel, but really nothing to show for it. Seem to lose their possession and their touch on the ball just at inopportune moments. Moa probably had the best angle for the shot, but insisted on coming back to his right side instead of using his left peg.
Fans, remember you can watch highlights from every game of the 2018 season and stay up to date with news from across the USL at the league's official Facebook page, facebook.com/USL Soccer. Portilla. Free kick coming up for Ottawa. The fans here at Goodman Stadium not a huge fan of the call.
Izo just into the back of Howarth. The captain is coming all over the pitch at the moment. Not just hanging out on the right side.
Portilla, good ball in. McCarthy tips it over the bar. First time he's been tested tonight. And he passes the test with flying colors. Corner coming up for the visitors.
Wonderful delivery off the set piece. Portilla with the free kick. Over everybody. Edgar's there. Right at the goalkeeper. The hands had to go up quickly. Well done, McCarthy.
You can see the look from Josh Yarrow. He was perplexed as to how Edgar got free because there were 3 Bethlehem Steel players swarming him. Portilla again. And McCarthy elevates over everyone. And Bethlehem could move onward and upward. Great ball forward for Epps. He's going to be able to get there. How's that for distribution? Epps. Poked away by Lapare. Olivier Bizo. Taking the space given to him. Marcus Epps. Lets it fly, takes a deflection, and now it's a corner kick on the other end for Bethlehem.
Marcus Epps has such wonderful technical ability. He's so explosive off the dribble. He just needs to make his decisions quicker. Let's have a couple of hours film session with Chambers. Watch how Chambers plays the game.
Moar. And it'll be offside. Knocking on the door of the final 20 minutes. Santi Moar with goals in the 16th and 32nd minute. Tyler Terrens along with Matt Stubbington. Glad to have you with us on this Wednesday of week number 24 in the United Soccer League. As Ottawa desperately trying to find their way back into this game, but a sluggish start in the first 45 minutes, and they've been paying the price ever since. Eddie Edward. Mayor Giguère. Marcus Epps over the top, hoping for Aiden Apodaca. Crepeau off of his line. Apodaca gets there. But David Edgar there to clean up the pieces. And Apodaca holding on to that left shoulder.
was defensive pressure that forced the error from the goalkeeper. Crepeau just passed the ball directly to Marcus Epps. Ball bouncing over the top to Apodaca, made collision with Crepeau, forced him off his run just enough to allow Edgar to clear it out.
Santi Moar, Aronson. It's a good block from Maya Jaguer. Olivier Paizo over the head of Crepeau. And it's Santi Moar who collects it. Sizing up Eddie Edward. Santi Moar. And a goal kick coming for Ottawa.
Good patient defending there from Edward. Allowing Guillaume Laparade to come over with the double team, forcing Moar backwards and over the byline for the goal kick. Good shape defensively there.
First substitution of the match for Bethlehem Steel.
And it's going to be the youngster Faris coming on and replacing Apodaca, who was unable to find his goal, but he did some very good things up top for Brendan Burke and this Bethlehem Steel side. And substitution is brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network. Apodaca was responsible for helping start the move for Santi Moar's first goal in the 16th minute, and Faris, who struck the post up in Rochester against TFC2, comes on here in the 73rd minute. And Santi Moar, while we were handling the substitution, given a yellow card for dissent. Epps trying to find the seam. Mom can't be happy about that yellow card.
Who's going to be more upset, Mom or Brendan Burke?
Probably Mom.
No computer time for Santi Moar when he gets home.
She might just skip the computer and go right to the phone and take that away for a couple of days. That'll show him.
And that's all yet to come for my kids.
No cell phones yet?
No cell phones yet.
Love that. Josh Yarrow clears it away. Tony Taylor waiting for the cavalry to arrive. It's getting to that point for Ottawa where if they are going to make a push for an equalizer, they're going to start to throw some serious numbers forward, maybe leave themselves exposed at the back. And that's where Bethlehem really love to take advantage of the time and space. Abassi. Taylor. Long for Edward. Looking to take on Matt Real. Eddie Edward tries to get it across. Real got a touch to it, and a corner kick coming up for the Canadian visitors.
Aggressive going forwards. Edward, since he's come on, and he saw here get forwards maybe twice in the first half, not at all in the second.
Moar gets ahead to it.
Select is the official ball sponsor of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Receive free shipping on orders over $50.
USL will surpass 2 million in total attendance this week, maintaining a record pace in the stands for the league's modern era. The league and its teams would like to thank you, the fans, for the rising support you have provided over the course of this season as we head toward the 2018 USL Cup playoffs. And we also thank the fans who are not able to attend, who have to suffer through us calling the game and watching. And McCarthy playing a little cat and mouse with Carl Howard. I mean, aside from the headgear, it is a striking similarity to Peter Cech. Is it not? or is it just the headgear?
That certainly enhances the appearance. Tall and lanky.
Here's the Donovan Reed. But Howard can't hang on to it. A little bit behind him was the pass as Matt Real. Good work to find Moart. Now receives the latter half of a give and go. Real skipping around the defender. Look at the step from Chambers. Now it's Josh Yarrow coming away with it. Aronson. Now Olivier Bizo. Over for Ferris. Back for Bizo all the way across. It's Yarrow. It's off the crossbar. Rattles the woodwork. Now Aronson. Trying to get around Laparé. And Josh Yarrow has to be scratching his head as to how on earth that didn't find the back of the net.
Oh, the defender got to the heady heights of the attacking third. That would have been a beautifully worked team goal. We've got plenty of highlights in the ESPN Top 10. I think that might be one on the Saturday morning, not so Top 10 list. Oh, that was a brilliant build-up. Yarrow will be so disappointed that wasn't in the back of the net.
On his first start and appearance for Bethlehem this season. Would have been nice to get his first goal of the year.
There's Farris, the overlap from Bizo. You can see the reaction of the player. Yarrow knows that one should have been buried in the back of the net. Almost tried to do too much with it.
Marcus Ebbs. Still striding forward. Nobody from Ottawa stepping to him. Just tries to scoop it over the top. Good defensive play from Eddie Edward. Given away by Obasi. Skundridge. Over to the near side. Bizo. And a good challenge from Mayo Jaguar. And a corner kick coming up. Let me ask this question to you, Matt. The so-called pass from Ferris to Bizo, was that a touch of him trying to get to the byline, or was he actually trying to find Bizo on the overlap?
In the run of play, I thought that he just had a mistouch and just was fortuitous that Bizo was right there. And he just said, oh, out of the corner of his eye, I'll let Bizo get it because he's in a better position. Of course, there may have been some communication from Bizo on the overlap that we didn't hear.
Moar. Looked like last touch came off of Tony Taylor. Indeed it did.
Good communication between Mr. Freeman and his assistant on this near sideline. Epps was in an offside position, didn't make any play on the ball, but that's why the defender did. So the play was influenced by the presence of Epps. So the offside flag should have gone up. Instead of giving the corner kick, Mr. Freeman gives the goal kick.
Both Chambers and Obasi go to ground. They both miss the ball. And Chambers got absolutely clobbered right in his stomach chest area. But Jambo is in more than a warrior.
Just two committed players. We're worried that he was going to get the full treatment from Bethlehem Steel. I think everybody realized that it was just 50-50 ball when they're coming together. It's going to be a drop ball situation. A fully contested one, which we don't normally see.
I think it's the first one I've seen all season. Taylor skips around Chambers. Still has to be Bizo. And Bizo gets the better of him. Taylor goes sliding into the mud. And Bizo called for the foul and gives John Freeman some death stares.
Well, it was lovely, lovely work here from Taylor. Little step over, hesitation. Shoulder to shoulder, but when you throw the shoulder, you're going to get the free kick called against you.
Howarth, McCarthy gets a strong fist to it. Portilla. Ball sent forward. Farris trying to get there, but Crépeau playing about 20 yards off of his line. Obasi. Header from Dos Santos, never troubling McCarthy. And then now we're going to get a substitution, and it's going to be Brendan Aronson coming off. As the 17-year-old will make way for Chris Nenko from Ontario himself. And substitutions brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network, and Chris Nenko provided the equalizer against Pittsburgh a couple weekends ago. He'll be able to come on here and maybe find some space in the attacking third to get the third goal for Bethlehem. Olivier Bizo has been involved in some physical play tonight.
To keep his arms down, to find his way into the referee's notebook.
Moar. Nenko getting his first touch. Nenko still with it. Now it's Chambers. Mahoney with a nice little move. Still Matt Mahoney. Slides it through. Farris trying to get there. I believe it was intended for Nenko. But nonetheless, it's Crépeau who comes away with it. Should be a handball on Yarrow. Indeed it is. And it will be a yellow card.
A yellow card has been assessed to Bethlehem Steel's number 15, Josh Yarrow. Yellow card given in the 84th minute of play.
Bethlehem a little more than 5 minutes away from 3 points at home. Trying to fend off a late rally from Ottawa Fury.
You're able to exchange your tickets for tonight's game for any of our
Portilla.
remaining home games.
It'll be offside.
You can exchange your tickets for any of the 3 remaining home games, including September 2nd against Penn FC, September 22nd.
Well, the play that led to the free kick, the handball by Yarrow, was bizarre. The ball was just going to skip through to the goalkeeper. Why Yarrow did what he did, I have no idea. Almost equally bizarre is the fact that Ottawa are not able to stay on side from the set piece that is so important to make the most of.
And on your way into the stadium of any of those 3 remaining home games.
Farris. Trying to fight his way through. Ends up fouling Lapare. It's become Route 1 time for Nikola Popovic's side. Sometimes you can even find your destination via Route 1. Dos Santos gets the return from Howarth. And Howard just completely slips on the surface here that has been more than watered throughout the course of the evening. And that's not exactly replacing your divot.
Seemed like it disintegrated in his hand when he picked it up.
It's like the size of the divot that I'm usually hacking up on the links.
At least you do replace yours, though.
I try to. I'm not throwing it down in disgust, although I would like to.
Thankfully, you don't throw your clubs in disgust either.
No, that's just one executive producer that'll remain nameless. Obasi, plenty of time and space. Miscommunication from Bethlehem as the ball comes across. Yarrow can't handle it. And another corner coming up for Ottawa.
It's the focus of the home team is found wanting the last couple of minutes.
Portilla. Chambers clears it away. Back in for Ottawa. Howarth, teasing ball loose in front. Cleared off the line. Assistant referee waves it off. What a goal-saving play. And the head referee, John Freeman, is going to have a conversation with his AR. Howard absolutely livid at the fact that it wasn't called a goal. But Matt, from our vantage point, it looked like it was a clean play.
Well, the linesman on that far sideline was in perfect position on the goal line to see whether it did go across. From our vantage point, I don't think that it did. Again, they're still living dangerously. Wake-up call.
Here's Taylor. Lets it fly from long distance, and now we'll get an opportunity to take another look.
Official Facebook page brings you the best from across the league with news, highlights, and interactive features. Like the USL on Facebook to get the league's best content.
Howarth with the service in. Difficult ball. Really well done. The whole ball has to cross the line. Yarrow stopped the last third of that ball from going in. I think the assistant on the far sideline got that one right. More frustration for the Fury. It was Mia Jagara that got the faintest of touches past McCarthy.
And we'll have one more substitution from Brendan Burke, and then both managers will have exhausted their options at the end of the game here. It'll be Brandon Aubrey coming on and replacing Santi Moar, who certainly got the job done with 2 goals on the evening. And Brandon Aubrey, very much a defensive option coming on here in the 89th minute. Substitutions brought to you by the Lehigh Valley Health Network. A great performance again from Santi Moar, runner-up for Rookie of the Year in 2017. Howarth can't get around Aubrey. He's able to claim it though. Now it's Obasi. 90th minute. Howarth lets it fly. Blocked by Aubrey. Now Bethlehem may be able to get that insurance goal. Farris off and running. Keeps it in play. And forgot something.
He was lucky to keep his footing the way the ground gave away. Keeping his footing, he did forget the ball.
Mahoney stepping forward. Chambers. We'll have 3 minutes of stoppage time. Good sliding challenge from David Edgar. Nenko goes down. McCarthy has really only had to make one big save tonight. It was a very good reaction save coming off a header from Edgar.
Well, Bethlehem still, they had to really answer the call twice. Were able to do so. One from that good reaction save from McCarthy. The second one from Yarrow clearing the ball off the line.
Here's Farris finding Nenko.
It's been a better second half for Ottawa, but just haven't created enough.
Only 5 clean sheets for Bethlehem this season. But they've relied more on their offensive capabilities. And it's going to be a yellow card issued to Brandon Aubrey, who just came on a few moments ago.
A yellow card assessed to Bethlehem Steel's number 44, Brandon Aubrey.
Portilla, another good ball in. Won by Yarrow, who's been excellent defensively. And it'll come out the other way. It'll be a foul. I believe it was against Dos Santos.
I only think it was a push in the back on Dos Santos, impeding Yarrow as he went for the ball. Bethlehem still will not complain about that. Set pieces haven't been good for Ottawa Fury tonight.
Skundrich brings it down. Bethlehem now just seeing out the clock. They can smell 3 points now. It's a convincing performance in the first 45 minutes, and then they just rode it out in the second half. Ottawa simply were not at their best tonight. Some contact off the ball between Howarth and Matt Real. Portilla. Tony Taylor. Eddie Edward. Just clips it in. And the header from Dos Santos over the bar, and that's going to do it full time for Goodman Stadium. The Bethlehem Steel take care of 2 Canadian clubs in 4 days' time. Santi Moar giving Brendan Burke and the Bethlehem Steel 2 goals and 3 points. His 5th and 6th goals of the season. He now leads all members of the Bethlehem Steel in the goal-scoring department. And Brendan Burke's side now with back-to-back wins, and will head into Nashville feeling very good about themselves and taking care of business here at home at Goodman. Matt Stubbington, your thoughts?
I think it'll be a very relieved Bethlehem Steel and Brendan Burke tonight. It was difficult conditions, particularly in the second half. Ottawa Fury just weren't good enough in the first 45 minutes, and just very content and competent performance for the home team. Job done, 3 points. That's all you can ask for. Keep a clean sheet. Ottawa Fury, they've got some questions to answer though.
Brendan Burke, as you can see, a very happy man. Not the same thing on the other side for Nikola Popovic. On the other side of this break, we'll have post-game stats and highlights. Don't go anywhere.
Join the Hillside School in their mission to empower intelligent students with learning disabilities and maximize their potential at the 35th Annual Hillside School Golf Classic, Wednesday, August 29th at Saucon Valley Country Club. All proceeds benefit the Hillside School Scholarship Fund. Enjoy a day on the links while supporting the Hillside School in providing students with the tools for lifelong success. For sponsorship info or to register, contact Aaron Coffey at the Hillside School. We'll see you Wednesday, August 29th.
6 points in the last 2 games for the Bethlehem Steel Football Club. Santi Moa, Aiden Apodaca, and James Chambers signing some autographs for the youngsters who came out, braved the conditions, and saw 3 points from their home side. A very convincing performance from Brandenburg's crew as they're able to score 2 goals in the first 45 minutes by way of Santi Moa, scoring his 5th and 6th goals of the season. Tyler Terrence along with Matt Stubbington, glad to have had you with us. And if you're just joining us, well, you missed a good one. And Santi Moa got things started in the 16th minute.
Well, in the 16th minute, the sun was out and it was shining on Santi Moa. Beautiful ball played with the outside of the boot by Marcus Epps. And the finish, the chip, was sublime. Mum celebrates, appreciating the effort of Santi Moa. The visitors just weren't good enough. They didn't press high enough up the pitch. They didn't put enough pressure on Bethlehem Steel. This was one that McCarthy was struggling with because his positioning was off. But however, that's really all there was of note in the first half for the visitors. And then off a design set piece from the corner kick, the handball against Miad Jiguer, he gets a yellow card. The penalty is awarded. Santi Moa picks up the ball, puts it on the spot, and then hammers it home with the right peg.
That came in the 32nd minute. The Forge a little bit late arriving to the game as it was a 5 o'clock kickoff start. But they arrive, the smoke bomb is out, and all systems are to go for Bethlehem. Then we head to the second half. Matt, there was some weather and there were some issues for Bethlehem early on as this one just gets past John McCarthy.
Well, we knew that Nikola Popovic would have a strong message for his team in the locker room at half. McCarthy and the Bethlehem Steel defense didn't really respond very well. They had to weather the storm of both the adrenaline rush from the visitors and the weather coming down. The conditions really were difficult for both teams. And I have to say that the players of both squads really adapted well to the difficult conditions that they were faced with. That was a wonderful save from McCarthy. It was right at him from the head of Edgar, but he had to get his hands up quickly to make the save. Good adjustment, footwork there from the goalkeeper, getting exactly the right spot where he needed to be to get those arms up. Nice creation on the offensive side for Bethlehem Steel. They weren't able to connect and put the ball in the back of the net. Marcus Epps in conjunction with Biza were a really good pair on the right flank tonight for the home team. Then on the far side, Biza connected with Faris. They connected with Yarrow. And unbelievably, he connected with a crossbar. And this one, he'll be seeing it in his dreams tonight, and he won't be having a good night's sleep. Except for the fact he does this. He may hit the crossbar at the other end, but he clears that one off the line and saves a goal. And that was a good moment for the central defender for Bethlehem Steel.
It was a bit of an up and down roller coaster evening for Josh Yarrow in his first starting appearance for Bethlehem this season. As we take a look at the stats from the 90 minutes, Bethlehem, not usually known for having a boatload of possession, maybe like a Charlotte Independence or a Louisville, but they come away with the lion's share. And really, it wasn't as efficient as we've seen from Bethlehem in the past, but all it took was 2 goals in the first half hour or so, and they're just able to ride the wave until the 90-minute mark.
They took care of business when they needed to and took the opportunities that were presented to them, and you can't really ask more than that. Again, Ottawa Fury, in my opinion, just made life way too easy in the first 45 minutes for the home team. They were better in the second half, but in the end, the efforts of the Fury were too little, too late.
Bethlehem able to take away 6 points in the last 2 games after dropping that match against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds right here at Goodman Stadium. They return home to the comfortable confines of the Lehigh Valley, and Santi Moa, in front of his mother, who traveled all the way from Ordez, Spain, comes away with a brace, and Bethlehem comes away with 3 points as they head to Nashville in their next game. Ottawa Fury will take on Penn FC. And for our entire crew, who is outstanding, and my broadcast partner, Matt Stubbington, Tyler Terrence saying so long for now. Final score, Bethlehem 2, Ottawa 0. We'll talk to you soon.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.